Coming up next on Headline Humboldt, reporter Ryan Hudson is in the studio to help shed some light on a long-standing homelessness issue that has plagued Eureka and its surrounding communities for decades, with solutions seemingly no closer now than ever. Also, a 21-year-old pedestrian and their dog were both killed in a crash this week, while two others were seriously injured. Coming up on Headline Humboldt. From the top of Humboldt Hill, this is Headline Humboldt. I'm James Falk. Thanks for joining us. Over the past several decades, a sorry game of cat and mouse has been played between law enforcement and a longtime resident homeless population who has nowhere to go. The first removal, at least in recent years, was the post-apocalyptic hellscape that was a long-standing shanty town on the South Jetty. For years there, anarchy reigned until the Federal Bureau of Land Management finally decided to act, removing the population, numbering in the hundreds, out of their impromptu homes and pushing them north and into the city of Eureka. The removal led to the restoration of public access and a much-needed environmental cleanup. Yet the removal of these folks came about without any real solutions in place, and it was ultimately just the first in a long line of actions that may have relieved one crisis, but left another larger issue untouched. The same scenario replayed itself years later in the Devil's Playground, a stretch of land beside Humboldt Bay in Eureka that once again became a kind of impromptu settlement for the area's homeless population and a magnet for chaos. The city ultimately swept in, offered services to those who were willing and capable of accepting them, then moved folks out. History seemed yet again prepared to repeat itself recently when folks were moved out of the Eureka Slough area near Silvercrest in the Humboldt County Office of Education building just west of the intersection of Myrtle and West. Ryan Hudson was on scene when the removal occurred, and the experience launched a months-long investigative effort that she's since posted on social media. She's here with us now. Welcome, Ryan.
Hi, James. Thanks for having me.
No, it's good to put a face with a name. We've had you on the show dozens of times, and we appreciate your work. So
thank you.
So, I mean, this is obviously a big and a heart-wrenching story. Describe for us how you first came upon the situation and saw it start to unravel.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that day in September of 2022, as you know, the Eureka Police Department and the CSET team had converged on that area to clear the homeless encampment that was there, and also enlisted the help of John Shelter with New Directions to clean up the remaining trash and debris. So I was tasked with showing up and reporting on that event for Kim Kemp at the Red-Headed Black Belt. Yeah. There's a live stream there that made the rounds, and so that is where I saw the encampment and the remaining trash there, the cleanup efforts. There were protesters. You might remember that part.
Well, we actually have a clip of some of that. If we can roll that real quick and take a listen.
Again, we came in on a weekly basis over the past several weeks, and then, of course, since August, advising people, hey, this is coming, here's resources, here's what we can connect you with. We've made phone calls for people, but nobody that we know of followed up at all with any of the connecting with Betty or the mission.
You know, it said that they offered services to folks, but they had no one take them up on that. I mean, does that sound okay to you, or what's the issue?
Well, there was actually one person that I did. I followed up with that because I couldn't believe that nobody had tried to access these services. You know, because where were they to go? What were they to do? And so one person, I think, did end up at the mission. Okay. And at the time, I don't think Officer LaFrance would have been aware of that. It was early in the day at that point in our conversation.
Sure. And that's out of how many residents there?
I'm told that there was about 60 people living in that area. Wow. And that was information I got from multiple sources, you know, people who lived in that zone, which they called affectionately the jungle.
Yeah. Now, you've focused on two people in particular out of that group, and you have had a conversation with one of them, Crystal, which we'll show here in a second. They've been around in this area for 25 years, or at least Crystal has, and have been relocated and all that. And right now they're still camped in the slough, right?
Yeah, Crystal ended up moving from that location, which she calls the jungle, to an adjacent sort of marshland area behind the Open Door Community Clinic.
Yeah, let's roll that clip.
on?
What they're doing, they're destroying our house, baby. They're destroying our home. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're destroying your home, Rico.
Okay, so tell me what's going on.
I told, well, what's going on is Eureka Police Department and whoever these people are.
Whoop, Rico, come back.
Excuse me.
That's okay.
They're,
He's a big guy.
yes, he is.
He's like, I want to go back in there.
Brother, Jerry. But the Eureka Police Department and whoever these people are, they came in and they told us we had like a week or 2 weeks or something.
Okay.
Less than that to get our stuff and get out. Well, we have nowhere to go. They've given us nowhere to go. No resources, no nothing. The one they give us is Betty Chin, and it's hard to get in there. Really hard to get in there. I've done it myself. I did it just a year ago when COVID just hit. I was allowed out 1 hour a day. You got a box with a bed, one light switch, and a little heater. Nowhere to plug nothing in. No TVs allowed. No nothing. And you're allowed 1 hour out a day. I did that for 8 weeks. I thought I was going to last one. I did it for 8 weeks. Out here, I've heard one of the security guards or police officers or whoever they are just walked through up there. I was sitting down. He said, we should put bear traps out to keep the bums out. Put bear traps out. Is that necessary because we're homeless? Okay, I asked the officers, I said, okay, can I come to your house? Can I eat off your plate? Can I sleep in your bed? Can I wear your pajamas? Because you're taking all that from us. What are we supposed to do? Where are we supposed to go? You thought we were an eyesore back here, but now we're out in the public? We're really going to be an eyesore. Now we're out in the public. Back here, we were at least behind the woods. They've taken all the bushes down from around town. We can't hide there, can't sleep there. They've taken and they blocked all little nooks and crannies. Even the bus stops have little ridges now where you can't sit down. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Not everybody has the money or the mindset or whatever it takes to hold down a 9-to-5 job. You know, some of us can't do that. Some of us have never done that. We're just trying to do the best we can. We don't harm nobody. We don't cause nobody no nothing. You know, we don't, you know, the couple people that made it real bad. I understand that and I know that. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that we couldn't clean it up. We couldn't pick it up. We didn't have no dumpster to put stuff. We had nowhere to take our stuff. We had nowhere to put none of the stuff.
That's what I was about to ask you, if there was ever a time that
nobody's ever offered us. No one has ever offered us to take any of the garbage out. No, nothing. Never. Not once. Not once. Hatchers came and said, we'll help you clean up. You know what I mean? Hatchers came and helped and said, we'll help you clean up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And have done that, but no,
and
not.
Hatchers, the needle exchange program?
Yes, it is. It's a needle exchange program. They're more than a needle exchange program. They're hygiene. They're medical. They do housing.
Rico, come back.
Resources for rehabs and stuff. Hatcher is so much more than just needle exchange. Hatcher is very, very awesome for the community.
Yeah.
I love Hatcher with all my heart.
Okay, thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Anything you want to add?
I just don't know where we're gonna go. What are we all supposed to do?
If you had a comment for the Eureka City Council regarding funding for nonprofits or services for you guys, what would you say?
I would say, like, you know, I mean, we need help. We need lots of help. You guys are having Danco build houses for CWS. They're building houses for elderly, and the people for medical. I mean, those are all needed. Yes, don't take me wrong. Those are all needed. But we need help too. We're not just scums of the earth. We're homeless people too. We eat like you. We sleep like you. We drink like you. We are you. We need help.
That is frankly hard to watch. It's emotional, and she's obviously in the middle of a major crisis that was brought on by the intervention of the city. And yeah. I'm not trying to make the argument that it shouldn't have been cleaned up. It's a complicated issue, and there's a lot of things at stake. There are a lot of programs and services that are offered, and you've done a lot of research into what a bunch of those are. But as we discussed on the phone a few days ago, I mean, your thesis is basically, no matter what we're doing, it's not working. There are people falling through the cracks and situations that aren't getting dealt with. What do you? What did you mean by that in particular?
Well, I feel that you know, anybody just taking a casual look around town or around the county in most places, it's obvious that we could do better.
Yeah.
And there can be better, there can be more done, you know. So my effort was really to see from the ground up, I could see what's not working.
Yeah.
So starting there, I tried to work my way up, and I'm still working my way up.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I wanted to see what these people who are unhoused, what they're able to access, how that works for them, how it doesn't work for them, you know, and what was being done maybe with those properties, because not only the aspect of people being unhoused and unsheltered is concerning, but also the condition of the environment is very concerning, because that's a wetland area. This is the slough.
Yeah.
And we can get into that. I know that we
Yeah.
talked about that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, restoration is a big thing, but then also restoration of community.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, as part of your investigation, you actually went to the county offices and you looked at parcel maps, right? Trying to figure out at what point, what the owners, different owners of the, and what struck you about the property owners there?
Well, the reason I went to go follow up on parcel maps and see what I could see was because, having reached out to the office of the county office of education, I was clued in to the fact that it really is sort of a patchwork of different property owners. And that is true. There are LLCs, there are county entities, there are private people who own those different patches of land.
To formulate the Eureka Slough in total, right?
Yeah,
The whole
all
area?
around from Myrtle Avenue. I kind of just checked the area where those encampments were and adjacent parcels to see really who's at play here. Yeah.
Yeah, and you reached out to one group in particular, that was the Humboldt County Office of Education.
Correct.
How would you characterize what their response was to you in terms of the issue?
Yeah, they said that there are different property owners, and that because of that, it makes the area difficult to secure. And they also indicated that the city of Eureka had been assisting them periodically and had brought to their attention the issue of the unhoused and unsheltered people on their property in August of 2020, just recently, right? So, you know, asking people who were sheltering in the jungle in that area how long they had been there, they tell me they had been there since the beginning of COVID. And that not only that, but that whole area has been sort of a go-to area for people in need of shelter or a place to be for decades, actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can attest to having seen people down there and in other areas that have been since closed off for a number of years, and there's a lot of traffic that goes through there, both of residents and people doing, you know, business of certain kinds in the woods there.
Right.
And it's tragic. You noted some irony, though, on the ownership of some of the properties.
Right.
What were you thinking there?
Well, I didn't expect to find, for instance, Open Door Clinic owns a swath of the property there, the Eureka Community Health Centers, and so the particular parcel or the area where several of the camps are, including Crystal with her dog and campmate there, that is on Open Door Community Health Center property, sort of behind the building. If you're on that walking path back there, if you've ever been back there, you know that there are tents in the bushes not very far off the path.
Yeah. What responsibility do the landowners have to keep this stuff cleared up? Do they have any, or is it just like call the city?
Great question. I'm looking at that because there's you know, property stewardship of the land. You want to be able to maintain the healthy ecosystem there, and it is marshland.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
so
valuable,
there's that.
ecosystems. For sure.
Right. There's that, and then there's also the element of what I would say calls for service. You know, so if a property owner is not able to address a problematic issue on their private property, they call law enforcement.
Yeah. Do we have those responses from HCOE, the graphic? So you reached out to the Humboldt County Office of Education, and they sent some written responses. One of the questions you asked was if they had hired private security, and they said that they had been doing that.
Yeah,
right?
they do. Yeah, they informed me that they do have sort of what I would call campus security walk around. So they tell me also there have been preliminary discussions between HCOE staff and city staff about potential improvements to the area, and that they're referring to the marshland there.
I think there's another quote coming on.
It might come up.
Oh, we've seen them
That
both
might be the
already, so
second one.
they already got it past us. Okay, so what was your reaction, emotionally to seeing all of this mess and the way people were living? I mean, how did that impact you?
It's hard. I mean, as a reporter, I really try to sort of take a fly on the wall approach to things. But when you see somebody, people having a human moment,
Yeah.
it really requires some empathy,
Yeah.
and some compassion. So
One of the interesting interviews that you got was of John Shelter. Can you describe who he is for us real quick?
yeah, certainly. John Shelter is a local guy who started a business called New Directions, and what they do is they go into encampments, greenbelt areas, even private property areas, wherever they are contracted to assist. They go in there, not only try to move out the individual or individuals plural who are living there, unauthorized camping, sheltering in the property, right? So he'll go in there, he'll tell them, hey, we need you to move on, and we're going to clean up this area.
Okay, we're going to run that clip of John now. Here we go.
Prior to that big cleanup on Saturday, we had been working with these individuals back there for 2 weeks.
Okay.
All the trash that got bagged up and pulled forward
Right.
is because Saturday was supposed to be trash pickup.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be about dismantling tents and stuff like that.
I see.
That
I see.
came along as quite a surprise, because if
Oh.
they were going to dismantle the tents, it should have been done way before community cleanup day. We worked with all the homeless. They were pulling the trash forward up to here.
Right, I did
we
see
had,
that.
We had almost a 40-yard dump just from the stuff here and the stuff back here that we had.
Uh-huh.
And the homeless actually helped us do that.
I saw that, yeah.
And you know what? I was very proud of the fact that they were willing to actually start stuff because they were scared.
Yeah.
They didn't know where to go. Where can we go, John? It's the biggest question that I get asked on a daily basis from the individuals I engage. Where do you want me to go? And I don't have an answer to that
Yeah.
because nobody will allow me to establish something
Right.
that could possibly work. They just keep on saying, oh, that won't work. Look, we tried it with the Palco Marsh. No, you guys tried something way different with the Palco Marsh. It was sugarcoating on something that's crap. And that's what happened. You pushed all the homeless out of the city into one area. You pushed everybody into one area. You had 300 and some people right there.
Yeah.
You left them alone for about a month. It blew up. And then you went in and said, hey, we have to take this down for your own good.
Right.
Then they tried these little parking lot things on asphalt that you go in at 6 o'clock at night. You have to pack up everything. It's by 6 o'clock in the morning and move on.
Like to where?
Once again, we put them in this perpetual thing of a cycle of homelessness.
I think that that's the actual key to all of this. We put them in this cycle where we chase them from one spot to another. She mentioned benches. I remember famously there were benches in Old
Right.
Town Arcata where people used to sit, and they were like, no, the homeless sleep there, so take out the benches. They took out the benches and the homeless just moved some other spot. There's you can't just like organize them out. You have to deal with the problems at hand.
Yeah.
You mentioned that there was a thing called a point-in-time survey that was conducted to see how many people are homeless in Eureka. And while the number can't be trusted specifically, it does give an idea.
Right.
And you said 500 people, is that right?
Yeah, Eureka counted, and it's a biannual count. So every other year they go out and do this, is my understanding. And Eureka counted, in the Eureka proper, 498.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that's not the outskirts,
Yeah.
you know.
That's
and,
not Cutton or Myrtletown.
Nope.
That's like, yeah.
Right.
Now, so if you were saying before that there were 60 to 70 within just that one area that you were looking at, I mean, that gives you a sense of,
Right.
a big portion of the homeless population in Eureka was using that area at least part of the time.
Yeah, that was my understanding, that was the main, that was sort of the go-to place at that time. And it was during COVID, also during the thick of it and the Delta surge and all of that. There was limited outreach happening because of the fear for community spread of the virus and that kind of thing. So there had been kind of a lull in outreach activities, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, that caused a lull in all kinds of situations,
It
but
did.
in that moment, the people who needed the help most
Yeah.
were cut off even more than they would normally be. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which is horrific. You know, we watched this video, and this was all shot by you. Was there ever a moment when you're out there that you worried for your safety, or were they all polite and welcoming? How was your interaction with the folks?
You know, I felt very comfortable walking with Crystal. She introduced me to a few people, and I was careful to, you know, to respect boundaries and privacy. So I really didn't feel unsafe.
Yeah.
You know, my mom makes sure I have a bear spray with me somewhere, so I'm okay.
You're protected.
Yeah, but you know, I really wanted to make myself available so that they felt comfortable really telling me what was going on.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and I think that comes through in your interviews. I think that they are succinct and they are, you know, passionately pleading their case, but it's not like they feel like they're talking to someone that they can't trust. So I
Yeah.
appreciate your work in that regard to build trust. I think
Thank
it
you.
makes a lot of difference. You know, so we have a SOT coming up that's is at a later date when you, I say SOT, I mean a sound clip.
Right.
Of Crystal and Lori. Can you set that up for us a little bit?
Yeah, so I had gone back to that area, you know, periodically, well, many, many times, to check on not only who's there, but what was there, because one of the things I found disturbing was that the trash was really never completely removed, and it's
Yeah.
still not.
Yeah, it's bagged up on the side of the road. some of
Yeah,
it, right?
from time to time, the very same exact trash gets bagged up, left there for some reason, not taken away, and then dispersed again, either by animals or what, I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's disturbing. But in doing that, I came across Crystal again.
Yeah.
And so this is where I met her, and she takes me to her camp.
Excellent. Let's listen to that.
Not something that I wouldn't even wish this on my worst enemy.
No, it's
And
freezing
anybody
cold.
that's homeless, I help. Even if they're not homeless, I try to help as many people as I can. And I don't got a whole lot, but what I do have, I try to help people with, you know? Because I know it's hard. Even if you got a house and a place to live, it's still hard to survive in this day and age. And people are just so heartless and careless that it doesn't matter to them. They just look at us like we're pieces of crap, and we're not. We're human.
Even especially since the COVID hit, it's gotten even worse.
I got really sick and had to take time off, and then it just got progressively worse, and then I hurt my ankle, and I couldn't walk on my ankle for like a month, and I just ended up not being able to go back. It's hard when nobody will hire you because you don't look clean, or you know, you haven't had a chance to take a shower, or
Good night's sleep. The trailer park over here, they have showers that we could use, but it's $20 a shower. They have a sign on the door, it's $20 a shower.
that's too much.
It's crazy.
If it cost me $20 to take a shower every time I needed a shower, I would shower less than the once a
Less?
week I'm already doing, right?
Yeah.
That's not funny, but to make a little levity out of a really difficult situation. So one of the things that's been talked about a lot, and there has been various efforts made in that direction, has been to establish some sort of a permanent camp, whether it's like a sleeping area or something along those lines. There was one that was attempted briefly over by the Eureka Water Treatment Facility, and that was a magnet for chaos, but a lot of people think that there was a lack of follow-through and supervision, and that is not emblematic of where it would have to end up. You visited such a camp in Santa Cruz. Can
Yeah.
you set that up for us a little bit?
Yeah, I briefly did. So going to Santa Cruz, I became curious about what they do. What does a different city do with the same problem, you know? So I did speak with a law enforcement officer there. As he was, here we are. He was checking on people who were camping out in a parking lot, a parking garage here, and this is what they are left with after the camp had been disbanded. So what they did in Santa Cruz was they had an encampment that was occurring in a park, like a designated park. So they were able to regulate that a little bit because it was designated as a park. And this is what the officer explained to me. It was easier for them to maintain it because it was a city-owned property, and they were able to do that. But it got out of control. So once it reached about 40 to 60 people, he just said it was not feasible to maintain.
Too much.
Yeah, so they broke it up, and now they have people sheltering wherever they can around town, similarly to Eureka. But the difference was at this encampment that they had somewhat sanctioned at the park, at least for a time being. The officer told me they had hand washing stations, they had charging stations, they of course had porta potties, a bathroom area, you know, so.
Basic needs were being met. So we're about out of time, but real quick, I mean, you've attracted some attention on your social media account for the work that you've done here, and I want to make sure people know about it.
Yeah.
If they go to YouTube, they can search for Humboldt Freelance Reporting, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Humboldt Freelance Reporting,
And
Ryan
you'll find
Hudson.
this kind of stuff, and what else?
Lots of stuff. Anything I do that gets plugged into an article somewhere, if there's a video involved, I like to keep it on my YouTube channel as well. So lots of stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah, breaking news.
Well, thank you for bringing this to us, and when there's a part 2, please come back.
Oh, I will.
This is an open invitation. So
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be right back after this short break.
Only of atoms. But how can atoms lead to consciousness? How does an understanding of galaxies and the origins of life help us find our place in the cosmos? Exploring those questions took me to the labs of leading scientists and even to the private chapel of the Dalai Lama.
Saturday afternoon at 3 on Keat HD.
I remember so clearly when I discovered gay comics. The thought that I could draw about my queer life was really revolutionary.
I was tired of feeling hidden, feeling misunderstood.
A fuse had been lit.
It's time. Let all the voices out.
The storytelling became very raw and visceral.
We're no longer token sidekicks. We're no longer sad stories.
It was like nothing I'd ever seen before.
Monday evening at 10 on Keat HD.
Call that show a must-watch. I'll be watching that one. So, a young person and their dog were killed this week in Arcata when they were struck on Alliance Road by a Toyota pickup. On Tuesday afternoon, the 21-year-old and their dog were killed, while 2 others, the driver and a fellow pedestrian, were seriously injured and taken to an area hospital. The Lost Coast Outpost is reporting that 2 vehicles were involved in the collision. An SUV had stopped at a stop sign and was rear-ended by the pickup truck, which then continued on into the intersection and the passers-by. Internet chatter has indicated that the driver of the truck suffered a health crisis that led to the crash, though those reports are as yet unconfirmed. No arrests have been made, but the investigation is continuing, according to the Arcata Police Department. That's it for tonight. Thanks for joining us and for remembering that people everywhere, whatever their economic or mental state, deserve our sympathy. Stay tuned, stay informed.